So I'm sure I'm making you all a bit nervous because we have students from Dubai, Lagos, India, counselors from Canada, and I'm thinking we might have someone from US, but I'm not sure. Might be joining us later. Oh, and Singapore. I forgot. So today is going to be really exciting. And please believe me when I say it's going to be madness. We've done the Common App just last month, and that was one essay, 2 days, and we were ready to cry. And to be honest, all the students cried at some point of time. But at the end of it, hey, the results were there. Okay. Y'all are all going to be crying. Y'all are all going to be hating me as well as each and every counselor who's here. But hate breeds love, or at least hate breeds results. And that's all we're looking at. Okay. Thank you, kids, for filling up your forms. Some of you gave us stress and how. Rishik, aka you, we got your form yesterday at midnight, and Kruti is still trying to read because the poor thing is in Canada. So when you did submit, she was way beyond her sleep time. But I'm sure she'll manage because she's going to be challenged to do it. Okay, quick introductions. My name is Priyanka Bharti. I'm the Managing Director to AcceptU India and the founder to Admission Specialist. I've been a journalist profession, but if you ask me what's the one thing I love, it is going to be essays. I challenge myself every single boot camp. I always ask myself, do I still love it? But I do. I don't know why. So I'm hoping, kids, that you all will continue making me believe in myself. Let me introduce to Ashna. Ashna, you want to say a hey? So Ashna, very little poor girl gets introduction from me, except I start with saying, oh, she's done a grad school from Harvard. And that ends up being her introduction. But the truth is she's a phenomenal girl, great skater, great, never ever play board games with her. She's horrible when she's losing. She's a great friend of my son, but I like to believe she's my friend. Undergrad at Pomona, grad at Harvard. Shaurya, one of my most wonderful children. He's actually one of those kids who got into every darn top college, including John Hopkins and Harvey Mudd, and said, I think I'll study in India, but he's going to be working at Oracle and does some incredible work with computers. I don't know what the incredible work is because I don't understand it. Okay. Let me introduce you all to Kruti. Kruti is my favorite. I love calling her Kruti Miss, and she hates me for that. But she's worked in IB school. She's an English teacher. She's worked as a counselor with liberal arts colleges across the world. And whoever's working with her will see a very gentle side of English, which they don't see with me. Okay, let's be clear. Who's missing here because she's actually had to get into another meeting with the International Association of Counselors is Shilpa. She'll come at some point of time. So Shilpa has actually been the counselor for many, many top IB schools across the world for over a decade. And she's a sharpshooter when it comes to essays. She absolutely wants what's in the details, okay? And the riff-raffs are going to be all done later. As per her, the opening hook or the closing hook don't matter. As for me, that's all that matters. But, hey, we all have our own way. Okay, so with that, have I introduced everyone except for Ninad? Ninad, you want to say hi? Ninad is literally the left hand, right hand, left leg, right leg for me. He's the guy who handles all the administrative tasks. If you have someone to blame, it's him. If you have someone to thank, it's also him. So that he might take a little time with the breakout rooms today because Ashna's helped him, but it's the first time he'll be doing it. So we'll be patient. Okay, introductions are over. We're now going to straight bang get into this work. To Sanjana. Sanjana, are you there?
Yes, I'm there.
Awesome. Thank God. At least I have one of my kids. Sanjana, I love the way you filled up your form. Lots of details, except it's a little generic, beta. Everything that you've told me is generic. You're going to hate me. I apologize right now, but I'm going to keep telling you what's your story in it. I was very keen and you can take a choice, but today we are going to be doing leadership, where I'd like to talk about your girl up, but in one story, or making a community a better place, where I'm really excited about the startup cafe Lou thing. Okay, so these are the two that we're going to be working on today. Which one would you like to start with? The girl or the Lou?
I think girl or friend.
Got it. Sounds good. So I actually have covered my kid till Anvisha comes. Ashna, do you want to go?
Yeah, sure. So I'll be working with Siddhi and Vaishnavi today. So for Siddhi, I think I really enjoyed reading your form. And the two questions that I think you'd have the most success with writing, you'd want to do the one with the challenge and the one with the example of leadership. And for Vaishnavi, what I chose for you was also leadership, but also the one about school and community and how you can make that a better place. So I think we have some really exciting content to work with. And I've highlighted key areas for both of you guys where we need to improve. And yeah, I'm excited.
Shaurya, do you want to go?
Yeah, sure. So, hi everyone. My students are Rohan and Yuvraj. So, Rohan, I really like going over your essays, and I think the two that we'll be going over today are your creative side, which is your love for music, how it started, and how it helps you as a human. And the other one is talking about your challenge, which is taking inspiration from your Common App and molding that essay into the UC format, right? And next, moving on to Yuvraj, I want you to work with your creativity essay again, which is where you talk about sketching aeroplanes and your ability to self-learn overall. And the other essay that would be great would be your academic subject, where you talk about physics and tech and your love for it from childhood. You talk about aerospace. So yeah, molding those two essays into the prompts, that would be a great way to start with.
Kruti, do you want to go next, please?
Sure. Hi, so I'll be working with Rishik and Arnav. Hi, guys. I'll start with Arnav because Rishik, I'm still catching up with your phone. Arnav, I really like the leadership experience, and both of you have answered their prompts. I think that's the first one we'll probably land up like working on. And there's some bits to work with, but you have a great story. We just need to pack it well. So I'll be leaving some of my comments on the Word doc if you see. And the other one I found interesting in your form was taking advantage of a significant educational opportunity and how you overcame that. So I think those two have some really solid storylines that we can start working with. Rishik, I'm reading yours. And I think you've also answered the same leadership experience prompt, which again connects to MUN. So that's fine. You also seem to have like a good storyline. I think on the second one, I still have to go through your whole form to pick which one. So we'll get there.
Okay, sounds good to me. Okay, now let me give you all the quick rules of what we're going to be doing today. One, breakout rooms. Ninad, you can start the breakout rooms in like less than 3 minutes now. Everyone know your group name. You will be working with your group counselor to start one essay today. You will have 1 hour to finish that one essay, not like a perfect draft, but more or less to put the body content together. Don't worry about the structure, opening hook, closing hook, drama, etc. Content is what is most important here in that 1 hour. After that, we'll send you guys a reminder call where we'll all meet together again. We'll take half an hour to discuss where are you struggling, what are you struggling, and the readers will read those essays, whoever's a reader of your group. Like in my case, I'm the counselor to Anvisha and to Sanjana, but the reader is going to be, I think, Shaurya, you're my reader? Perfect. So he's going to read both those essays and also give his comments. So the readers will kind of translate around to tell us what they feel about the essays. So that when you go back home for that one essay, you'll have feedback from your counselor and a reader. Okay. 1 hour after that, we'll be working on your second essay today. Okay. When we finish today, which I'm hoping 7, but it might be 7:30, we'll do a round of question and answers, but you will have homework. Those 2 essays then, based on all the comments you've got from your counselor and reader, try and perfect them over the night. Okay, kids, anyway, you all don't sleep. Okay, so don't turn around and tell me, Auntie, I'm tired, I have to sleep, blah, 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 all crap. Huh? I know you all very well. So please sit down and finish that. Finish it. 350 into 350. Even if you write 500 words, accept it. Don't write 1,200 words because that's like, we don't know what to do with it then. cut it down, but finish it as much as you can. Your counselor and your reader will then start working on it. Once you write on the group, done. To the best that I could, I have put my final drafts. And then your counselor and reader will again make comments on it, which you can work after the workshop. Tomorrow, we'll finish the third and the fourth essays in the same way. Okay? After that, yes, you can always talk to us about customized packages, anything you're looking for, any help you need, and we try and work it out. All of us are here to help thereafter. But now we have to make this solid. Okay, hey, Anvisha, I'll discuss with you your essays now. And another thing, when after the 2-day workshop, you'll be given 24 hours only, where again, the next 3 and 4 essays have to be perfected, and the first and second essays have to be perfected and finally given to us. After that, we'll take 1 week to work on it, because we'll have 2 feedback specialists joining us as well. And we'll give you what we'd like to say, nearly final draft. After that, of course, there might be a little changes. Maybe there's some comments you all have to work on, etc. Sounds good, everyone? Awesome. Anvisha, Peter, you joined in 2 minutes late, so let's discuss your form as well. So Anvisha, in your case, the essays that I want to work on today will be, one, I like the significant educational opportunity, where we'll talk about Taekwondo, but we'll talk about it, how is it an educational opportunity for women?
Yeah.
Right? So we'll connect those. And then I am thinking, let's do the one on art, and let's put that as a community.
Okay.
Sounds good? Your academic subject will cover the whole of incredible art. So we can't have anything in art community about incredible art. And your greatest skill will probably be public speaking, but again, covering your need to have a voice for others.
Yeah.
Okay. Sanjana, similarly, here's what I was thinking. Leadership will be your girl up. Beyond what you've shared is the essay, which might be a very quirky, interesting essay about your book and socio-entrepreneurship.
Right.
Okay, but with a little twist to why is California the hub for it. But let's do that tomorrow, because by then you'll do a little research on California, and so will I.
Right. Okay.
Got it? Significant challenge. You've already written about the business pitch competition, but why was it a challenge is not something we're clear. Which period do we want the challenge to be? Is the challenge that, hey, there were 2 ideas and everyone felt my idea was better, but I personally felt that, something for students, blah, blah, blah. So we'll have to hear both your ideas for that.
Right.
Okay. And then your community, a better place. Okay. So kids, you both have your Google Docs ready, right?
Yeah.
Climb onto your Google Docs so that I can see you. I'm already there.
1 second.
Writing here. Do you see draft 1, opportunity at barrier? Right on top.
Yeah.
Perfect. You can start writing. You can mute yourself, Anvisha, but stay in the breakout room.
Okay.
Sanjana, let's discuss you. Okay. Girl up. Are you there with me, Sanj?
Yeah. Yes.
Awesome. Sorry, I call you Sanj because half my kids I call Sanj when they're Sanjana. Beta, leadership, girl up. Now, if you look here, you've told me it's a difficult job. What was a difficult job? You've told me conflict of opinion. What was the conflict of opinion? You said it's taking decisions. What decisions? It's also then fighting and hearing both sides. What fight? How did you motivate them? What were the results? So if you see in your answer, everything is what, why, how, what, why, how. I'm not getting answers that let me know who's Sanjana.
Right.
Okay? So first, you and I have to do a conversation. Tell me a little about how did you get Girl Up? Why did you bring it? What was your biggest problem you faced? Let's discuss it.
Okay. So I think it was peak COVID or 1 year after pandemic. Like I've written. So I worked in this startup called Lou Cafe, like I said. Then that actually inspired me. And I've actually formed like connections with people who are also interested who also work in such NGOs. So that's when one of my good friends. So she was actually the president of Gala Prerna before I joined. And so I told her that if there is an opening anywhere, because I'm so inspired by the work I've done in Lou Cafe, I really want to do such kind of work somewhere else.
Okay, question. Did you ever felt at Lou Cafe that men have an advantage and women don't?
Yeah, I did.
I want that story. When? Give me that.
So when we were actually going around for getting the stories of rural people, because of how women and their sanitation, the way they are, that when I've realized whatever problems they were facing were much worse at a much.
Did you have a problem yourself? Like, was it possible that you had your periods, you didn't know where to use a loo, or when they took you to an external loo and you didn't know how to change there? Was something like this that ever happened? Or anything girl related that you felt that, I am struggling. It's tough because a Girl Up is not just a non-profit. It's a
Right.
non-profit clearly saying the girls need to be brought up.
Right. So personally, I had a difficulty with using the loo, but not to an extent where I got my period and didn't know. But I can tell you, I really got inspired hearing the stories of those rural women. Some girls my age don't even know what period is. So those kind of things inspired me to actually join Gala Prerna. And then is the
They
question.
did not know what periods are.
Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
my age until they themselves got it, and there's no
Right.
and then there's
Then
no like information on,
yeah. And then where do they have a loo to use? Do they have a place to dispose? Do they wash them?
they don't have a proper washroom, of course, and that's where the Lou Cafe idea comes in.
But we won't talk about Lou Cafe here because that is going to be making the community a better place, beta.
Okay.
Right. So here, what I'd like you to do, Sanjana, is, and when you start writing, look at telling me an example, like, visiting rural India for a project is when I met young girls. What should have been a conversation of, what I expected would be a conversation of Bollywood and movies and dance and, anything, choose. It turned out to be all about menstruation, sanitary hygiene, sanitary napkins, hygiene, and their stories, and you can say whatever, Alicia from village or whatever told me about how she did not even know what periods were, menstruation was, and how it existed. And the first time when she got it, she, came back crying, thinking she's hurt. Start with a story like that. And Mayuri told me about how she has to wash the dirty clothes every day by herself and how her hands, she feels, are stinking. So, make that little drama and then move on to speak about, thus you brought girl up. And then tell me the challenge you face. One challenge. Don't go too much, beta. Talk about one or two challenges, getting girls to join you, getting girls to open up, whatever your challenge was. Write that story, your specific story, your problem that you faced as a head of that. Okay, got it?
Yeah.
Again, beta, what we'll do is, I am writing on top. If you're on the thing, you will see draft 1. Okay. We're talking about leadership. Girl up. Okay. Got it? Start writing here.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. You can also mute yourself. Anvisha, I'm with you now. Yeah, got it. Process of receiving or giving systematic instruction is what education is by definition. Systematic information paradoxically is not confined to 4 walls and desks in a classroom, especially in India. But how are we moving to sports from here then, Anvisha? Why are we moving
Ma'am,
to...
didn't you say that I have to talk about how sports is used as education? That's why.
Correct. No, I was thinking we could do the process of receiving. I thought instead of this line beta, we could write, but that is not just for classroom, but beyond classroom, even add sports, and
Okay.
then say that in India. Doesn't that make more sense?
Okay, so like this entire part that I've selected now into like one tiny line.
No, this is fine, beta. The line that I have underlined, no, this.
Yeah.
Instead, I'm writing in comment. Something like this, Peter. Read my comment. I was thinking, so you come straight into that.
Okay.
Okay, and then what we'll do is we'll say that maybe it's the definition which is limiting. And instead, using the Taekwondo definition that you've given, that should be the definition of education, because it's about the lift. So that's how our end will be. Does that make sense?
Okay, but then do I introduce that like at the end?
Yeah. So it'll be,
Oh, so like we're redefining
yeah,
what education is in India.
yes. So
Okay.
something like this is what I like to start. Okay, so something like that. And at the end, I will say, at the end, I would have said, and then I would say that. Make sense?
Mhm.
Okay, so in between, I want you to explain to me one paragraph about the problems faced.
Okay, so there's like,
yeah. So here, after this, first paragraph will be problem faced.
mhm.
2, how did you try to change it? And eventually, some kind of success or failure you went through, because that's very important, right?
Yeah.
And finally, between these will be your definitions.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So start writing, beta.
So I've written that I was involved in a project that required me to travel to a rural area, right? So do you want me to explain what the project is?
Not at all. Not
No,
at all.
no.
On the contract, in fact, I would just say, literally, while on an internship.
It was not. Yeah, okay.
That's what you've said, right? That thing is an internship.
It wasn't an internship. It was I was working in that marketing team that required me to go.
That's an internship.
Okay.
Something like this, and straight flow. Okay.
Okay. I was just going for a more story aspect, 2021.
And that's fine, sweetie. I will edit it anyway. So you do your thing.
Okay. Yeah.
Is that fine?
Yeah, thank you.
So that, Anvisha, then becomes your beginning, your opening hook, right?
Yes, ma'am. So like, but so we have to ask a lot of rhetorical questions.
We could also remove this. And then we are in 2 questions. Even that's fine, right?
Okay.
So that's your opening hook. You're done there. So now follow the process of the 3 paragraphs. Okay. The ones I've written here: problem faced, try to change, success, failure. And at Okay, I'm going to put the prompt on top for you so you know what we're talking about.
Right. Sure.
That's your prompt, beta.
Yes, ma'am. And I think they even have like some descriptors about what they want to see. So like we don't care.
Work on this. That we know, so you don't have to worry about that. And Sanjana, I am also putting the prompt for you.
Yes.
And it's over a period of time. Remember, that's very important.
Right.
Start writing, Sanjana.
Yeah,
Don't
I'm
get
just
stuck.
yeah.
No, don't get stuck. Just write, beta. Don't worry. Don't get stuck. Just put your thoughts together. Don't worry about how good or bad it looks. Do you remember what they said? It's always nice to give a real comment. Anvesha.
Can girls even like? I remember it wasn't even that long ago, but I was going to compete, and they were like, "Oh, they have competitions for girls to fight." Like in the very judgy tone.
So something like that, but something which is like, like I know when I was a swimmer, my grandmother who used to tell me kali ho jayegi. So,
Yeah.
even little like something like that, if they've ever said, okay, I mean, why do you need it? You anyway have to get married. Your husband will protect you. This husband will protect you is a standard.
Yeah, like
Yeah. So maybe
why
we
do you
can do
need
that
all
one.
this? Like
Yeah.
that's kind of what they just say. Like, why do you care about all this? Like you don't need to.
Yeah. So, just write this then, what I have written to you now. You can just write this instead. So then that paragraph is over. You've introduced it. Okay. I'm writing comments so you'll understand, beta.
Okay, yeah. Is it?
Always make both of you, Sanjana and Visha. The problem you all have is your stories are generic. Don't make it generic, make it specific. If you read my question, why? Why did you stick to it, Anvisha? Nevertheless is no word, for an essay, because that's the essay. Makes sense? Are you guys with me? Okay, perfect. So write that. Okay.
Like
it could be that your mother drove you, or
yeah.
it was that that she was the one who said no, it's okay, don't come down under the pressure, and or there was another girl there who also, you saw her, she was so bold, she was so confident, and you wanted to be like her, something like that. Or that you just wanted to prove the men in your family wrong, the fact that they would snigger at you and say, oh my God, don't beat me up, you'll make us as pulp or whatever. It was so annoying that you literally did want to beat them to pulp. So, those are the stories we're all looking for. So write that and then talk about, the problems you faced. And then you will tell me about what did you do? How did you start training and teaching and working with it, right?
Okay.
Okay, I'm with you now, Sanjana. Better. I see some written work.
Yes, I mean, grammatically, I'm not. I'm just like writing.
Please don't bother about that, Sanjana. I'm here to do that. As much as possible, Sanjana, never add adverbs.
Okay.
It doesn't add any value. Like really startled could just be startled, right? But it takes up one word of the 350 words. So we try and avoid adverbs.
So the limit is 500 or 350?
350 is actually what it is. 500 is what we allow you to write.
Oh, okay.
Menstruation, yeah, menstruation. So this then becomes your opening hook. Got it? So we've got one paragraph written already.
Right.
See, that was not so bad. Now you will move on to tell me. Now in this paragraph, we'll have to be quicker, a lot quicker, straight I know so much because I've worked in this, Sanjana.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And then you come back to your school with the passion that I want to help. This is the area I want to work. And then you went up to the Gala president and then you need to show and that you know that you started this chapter, or was the chapter there already in your school?
So it was actually not a part of my school at all. So the internship, the girl I was doing with the internship, we were actually talking about how bad the situation was. And then she said, I'm actually part of an NGO called Gola Prerna, and it's somewhat related to what we do. And then
But then I don't want you to give me all that. I simply want you to say that, I came back with a vengeance that this has to be worked out. I started speaking with people within nonprofits and internship space and got introduced to Gala Prerna. Then you tell me, how did you bring this to your school? The challenges you faced, if any, while getting it. Then as the president, the challenges you faced. So that's the more important part. And bring out all the challenges and every day how miserable it was, because a lot of times we come up with the idea that we'll do something good for the benefit of others, but it never works out like that, because everyone else has a personal agenda, right? So talk about that, whatever you think. Okay. Anvisha, I'm coming to you now, sweetie. Beautiful, Anvisha. You're now building a story that's personal to you. That's good. Maybe something like this. Can we write that?
Yeah.
Here, right? So that'll be a nice, you've introduced a new word, so I kind of wanted to remember what we are doing. We are doing overcome an educational barrier.
Yeah.
Now, what have you done, beta, to help others learn Taekwondo? Haven't you taught at a non-profit?
My nonprofit is about like rural artists.
No, that I know, not incredible. But
Yeah.
I remember you having taught Taekwondo, right?
Well, like I thought there was this like group of girls at an orphanage that was one.
That's what I was talking about. So
Yeah.
that is what I want you to write about.
Okay.
Here. And then from here, what you need to do is, yes. All this will come. So this kind of comes here. And then, so I, now here you talk about the challenge you faced. How did you find this orphanage? How did they agree? Were they upset? Were the girls willing to learn? Did they come up with a story that was so heartening? How maybe someone teased them in the middle of the roads, or someone touched them inappropriately. And this is things that happens, right? So write those kind of stories here and say that. And over the number of hours you spent, what did you see? What was the biggest thing for you to realize that they managed to do? Because then your answer is, how did you take advantage to overcome this educational barrier? And thus also those orphanage girls, then if they were being able to, as they grow along and they go somewhere, how they will continue spreading it.
Yeah.
Right? So it's a lot of dominoes effect, always remember. And that's what a barrier is. A barrier is a dominoes effect if you find a solution. Because once you teach one girl, 100 people can learn.
Yeah.
Right? So that's what we'll come to. Okay? So bring that then. We'll talk about the movements later when we're introducing it, but that's all I want now.
Ma'am, but can you keep that line so that I can at least take reference from it?
Yeah, okay, got it.
Oh wait, is it still there at the bottom? Yeah, it is, right?
Yeah.
What I wrote before. Then it's fine.
And you also have access to your form beta, so you can always bring back anything you want from there.
Okay.
Sanjana, going back to you now. When we're writing numbers, any number up till 10, we generally write in spellings.
Would this be enough for a second?
Yeah, that's it. Absolutely. This is your second paragraph. So you kind of build it up. Okay. And now in this paragraph, talk about, I come from, and this wasn't even there in my school. Yeah. And that's when you realize that I want to bring this. And then the next paragraph is the challenges, which show your leadership.
Sorry, I didn't understand. So now I've introduced what Gala Prana is. So I'm gonna say I have no clue. There's nothing like that.
Yeah.
Yep, that's good.
Which is what happened, right? It couldn't have been
Yeah.
easy. Yeah.
So ma'am, so now that I've kind of introduced it, the challenges. So the challenges that I've written in the form were more regarding, my role as a leader of the team and managing their personal agenda.
And that's fine.
So I could just
fine.
elaborate on
Yeah.
that.
When did you start this?
So I became the president this year. So last year I was the vice president.
When did you start it?
Sorry, when did I start? What?
Gala Prerna in your school? 2018, 2019?
No,
2020.
Yeah. No, I mean, so we'll talk about the school club.
Where did you introduce this? Gala?
No, this was an outside school thing that I was.
Okay. Oh, got it. So after 3 years of volunteering?
Yeah.
Something like this, love?
Yeah.
Now talk about the challenges you face. Sounds good?
Yeah, that's perfect.
I
Fine.
realize you really have a struggle with writing your first lines. Okay, no worries.
Yeah, I actually do.
Yeah, Anisha is very good with her first lines. But she struggles with the center. So yeah. Anisha, I'm with you. I'm now reading what you've written so far and seeing how the story is coming along. This one's done.
May I use the restroom really quickly?
Haan, beta?
Can I?
Yeah, quickly, but. Anvisha, beta, if you realize we're done. So far, brilliant.
Mhm.
Okay, till here. Now, as a newly inspired teenager, I don't want you to come across as a 12-year-old when you're doing this. I want it to come across as more recent.
Okay.
Okay, so, okay, and so instead of saying who wish to seek more, blah, 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 that's been done. Move. So I reached out to my school, I reached out to other, municipal societies, I reached out to lesser privileged schools, but everyone refused. Why did they refuse? What did they say? And then finally, you got this opportunity. And then what happened there? Okay, because remember, you're dealing with a barrier. So it's very important that we know the challenges. Okay.
Mm.
So that's what you're going to start writing. But so much done. So that's brilliant. You've kind of course, we'll need to shrink it later. But as of now, you're kind of done with the word count that I like is about 247. So that's too long because you now need to build up the challenge. And then at the end, say that, this is something that, I mean, it was such a small step, right? Okay, why is this not going? Okay, yeah. And we need to
278.
move. Done? Yeah. So you need to now kind of turn around and describe how you've worked to overcome this barrier. So that's where what you did with the orphanage is where it ends. That I have managed to convince them why and how they protect themselves.
Okay, and we're not bringing back
No,
the
and we will continue to do it. And then we will end that, taekwondo means this. And that is what I'm hoping will be the redefined meaning of education. And we'll leave it there.
yeah.
Okay. So you write that. Don't worry about the word count. I'll cut that later.
Okay.
So that won't be more than 500 if you do it my way. Okay. I'm going to be with Sanjana now. Sanjana, in your case, we haven't even come to the story yet. Help resolve disputes or contributed to group efforts. Okay. So obviously, I'll have to really cut down the word count.
Okay. Yep.
So I will do that. You don't have to worry about that.
Right.
The word count is 224, just the first two paragraphs. So of course, I will start cutting. I'm starting the cutting down beta while you're building it. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Sure. I think it's perfect. We
Aw.
went.
Perfect.
I
Great
just
job.
have that problem. I feel like I can write in the middle, but then the starting and the ending, it's just like.
And it's so amazing. Anvisha does exactly the opposite. Her beginnings and ends are so powerful. It's really interesting how I'm trying to switch between you both. Perfect. So write this, Sanjana, because then you're done. Finish writing the problem. We'll do all the word sorting. There has to be a lot of cutting that has to be done, beta. These two paragraphs I'm writing as a comment. Cut this to max. Okay. 175 words. That's all we can do. It's currently, I think, 280.
Oh my God. Okay.
Beta, you'll actually have to say what were the decisions you took. Maybe you had to remove two people who were just doing this
Okay.
without an interest. Maybe your best friend had to be told back out. Maybe another young girl who kind of, or something like that. You'll have to actually say the decisions you took were hard. And then thus what happened. Because
Okay.
there's no point saying, oh, that one story impacted them. Not true. Okay. How you realize when sometimes when there's a show, everyone wants to come to have their presence felt. But when it comes to cleaning after the show, no one did. Right? So that's when you realize that, no, first, let me focus on those who came for the cleaning. Let me give them the lead roles. And automatically that became a lesson for both. So things like that.
Okay. Okay.
I'm just going to read out and then just sort of tell you where my thought processes were. I've obviously summarized that at the end of the document, right? Of the draft. So I've been chosen as my school's UNICEF ambassador, which placed huge leadership responsibilities. One of the first tests was that you had to work in groups for the New York Summit and put a presentation together. Now, I think that we just want to pack in some more details here about the role, about like what the scene was, what the summit's focus was, and what the presentation was going to be. Right? Because once we have those details, we sort of get what is the climate like? What was the disagreement about? Why, if it was high stakes, we need to say why it was high stakes. Right? Like if you were making a presentation among like, or yours would be one among like just the 20 that was going to focus on that group. It just sort of gives us a picture, a better, vivid picture with all the details that we need to construct that sort of scene, right? So that I think we just need to fill in that gap, and then we'll come back to editing the word count again and again. Okay. So one of the things I wanted to focus or clarify is when you say you quickly took up the leadership role in the team, was that something that was voluntary? Was that something that was expected of you as an ambassador?
So we were all UNICEF ambassadors over there. So it wasn't like I was not assigned like the leader of that specific group. It was a summit of ambassadors from each school around the world. And we didn't really have any assigned leaders. So we just got together in a group and we had a topic to present on. So, I just kind of took over the leadership position as and I started planning, started, assigning roles, assigning tasks, stuff like that.
Right. So I think this is important, and I'm glad I asked because it does demonstrate initiative, but in like it can't be like in a vacuum, right? Like you can't just stand up and say, I'm the leader.
I
That
didn't
would be
stand up
really
and
odd. So what you might want to clarify then is saying we might have to add a line that says, we weren't getting things done, or we were just always trying to figure out and playing catch up, and that was not ideal because we weren't like preparing towards the main presentation and stuff like that. So basically, when nothing was getting done, I took the initiative to actually just mobilize things, just get everyone together, talk about logistics, talk about implementation and execution, because it seemed to be like nobody seemed to be talking about that. Right. So maybe in that context, we, once we build that context, then we can show that demonstrated, like, you demonstrated initiative. So we won't say it in those words. We'll have to show that, right? We won't say that. Okay. Now, one of the things that that I was going to mention, that I have mentioned in my comments, is that when you say that, your realization was about structure and getting like organization, it is actually a good point, but then it'll be counterintuitive to your prompt, because your prompt says, how have you positively influenced others? How have you resolved and disputes? So if you in your current draft, what you're doing is you're reinforcing the fact that I believed in structure. I told everyone that there has to be structure, and then there was structure. We might want to turn that around and say that, this was my view. I was looking for more collaboration. Everyone had different viewpoints. It was really difficult to get consensus. And the one way that I strongly believe that the only way we could get this done is actually just agree on having like a structure or be organized. And then with everyone knowing what that, what are the parameters within which everyone had to operate once we had defined that, then we were more functional as a team, right? So your leadership is that we were dysfunctional. We did not know what we were doing. We were all great. We were all like super talented and stuff, but we were just not working together. And then you can talk about, how did you have like difficult conversations, how you had like, fallouts, but you had to agree to disagree. And that was like it was a learning for some of the people. Some people took more time than the others, and you gave them less space to be themselves, to express themselves, and yet be a part of a unit, a larger unit that was committed to a particular purpose, that was committed to a cause, right? And then you can, when you're talking about that, when you're talking about the positive influence, you can talk about both, right? So you can say that, by the end of it, everyone, when we were back, we were very good friends. We, got to know everyone in different capacities. Everyone learned to agree to disagree in a very functional manner where they did not dislike each other for disagreeing. And so that was, that was sort of your influence, and everyone sort of understood how, why, or the merits of actually just organizing things, everything. And then you can also talk about it, but they also had a positive influence on me in the sense that I learned how to mitigate very difficult conversations with people without actually losing them or hurting them, something like that, right? So you can talk about both the fact that you obviously had like a positive influence. So that would be the outcome. The outcome here is that y'all had a good presentation, y'all were able to deliver in time, y'all were functional as a team, y'all came together at the last moment. Those are things that we need to amplify more. Okay.
Yeah,
And then
I get
you
your point. Actually, I'd initially written this from the perspective of like what I had learned from working with an unfamiliar team, kind of, but I get your point, but I have to kind of
Yeah.
show that.
And we can slip that in as well, because I honestly feel that it would be incomplete without you also saying what you got in return, right? Like what have you learned, and just like add that as a line towards the end. Okay.
Mhm.
Yep. So there's like the achievement, the success that, you guys did your presentation, well appreciated, quite impactful. People came after like that to talk to you, etc. And then you can talk about the rest of the influence as well. Okay. Now, the challenge is that this is still 350 words. We still need to keep there. So what I would recommend is I'll create space for where you can add your second draft. You can keep coming back to what you want to work, like what you want to pick and what you want to leave out. Okay. When a lot of the students get very nervous when I tell them, oh, you've got to rewrite it. We're not rewriting from scratch. So we have like a storyline, we have what we know. We're just going to fill in those gaps. So what I would recommend is have your outline, organize all the points that we've spoken about,
Yeah.
have that outline, and then pick just one thing and start working on just that one paragraph. When you break it into chunks, it becomes a much more easier and like a much more achievable task. Exactly what your draft is about, organization, right?
Mhm.
Okay. Okay, wonderful. So are you okay to start working on that?
Yeah, I think I am.
Okay. So I'm going to, on your document, I'm going to say draft 2. Okay, and then we'll come to the edits in a bit. Let me actually just push this down further for you so that you have space, right? And then if you want to start, you can start with an outline. Feel free, this is your canvas now. Just leave the original draft as is. You don't need to edit the original draft at all. Just so that
Yeah.
you have all your organic ideas here. This is where we started with. I think those are the most important drafts, okay? Coming to you, Rishik, just give me 1 second, okay? Okay, Arnav, I'm going to move to Rishik. If you have anything, just feel free to, buzz us. But I'm going to now move to Rishik's essay, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll see you around. Hi, Rishik.
Hi, ma'am. So I looked through all your comments and everything.
Uh-huh.
I think you're right with like an actionable step. I did when we came back, I asked her to like explain to me like I think I can put it into better words because I asked her to explain what was going on in your head when you did whatever the situation was. But I'm sure I think I can word that as I came after our trip, I asked her to reflect on that and like explain to me that and assure me that this won't happen again because she's a good member and I want her to be I need her to assure me that your conduct is going to be at its best.
Yeah, and I think that okay, so let's scaffold yours right from the start, and then we'll come to that, and I'll tell you where my headspace is exactly where you were referring to now. So you had you're part of the MUN debate club. You're a very long-standing member, which means that you have credibility enough to onboard new people, initiate them into the club, and be contributing members, right? Now, is this so the mentoring role in the position as a leading officer? So would it be safe to say that you were the You were the leading officer or whatever that is for your debate club.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so is that a legit like position or something that you're going to mention in your application?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So I would
Yeah.
word it. I would word it exactly the way it is, just so that you're being accurate and the officers will be able to make a connection between what they're reading here and what they see on your resume or on like your profile, right?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so
Let me
I would
just
just word that. Don't like, yeah, and don't edit this draft, leave this one as is. We'll come to that. But I would just word it that way, which is why I've said like clarify your role. It's just about phrasing. Like I get what you're doing, which is more mentoring and stuff like that. But if we can just clarify it and phrase it well, that would be nice, right? It helps dozens. One of the greatest challenges that you've had to like mentor a young member during an international conference where they acted inappropriately and disrespected the peers and every other, the club that they represented. This is where we might want to need some more details. Again, like I was telling Arnav, some specifics here would help, right? So which is like that yeah, Arnav, that's fine. That's totally fine. I mean, good idea. Um, this is where we might want to set the stage for why, to just make it a bit more to understand the drama, right? Like, that, oh, this is like say it's the Harvard International Mon, like, of course, that's a huge thing because, there are like 10,000 students from at least, 50 different countries coming and, attending the Mon, etc. That is a big stage. There is like, reputations are at stake and stuff like that. So if we can have the name of that international month, that would be really nice. And then when you're describing what the conflict was, which was that they broke protocol, you might just want to be a bit more specific. Did they just argue out of turn, or they, when it escalated, did they not like, or did they just escalate something that they could have just curbed? So just describing that conflict a little more would also help understand where did they lose their code of conduct. Then when we come to your, as a mentor, that's when you would talk about just a line like, I was quite shocked because she otherwise in school, and you've observed her otherwise, she's been a great, very, very valuable member, has, never had behavioral or, conduct issues, etc. So it was quite shocking, but also you could not let this sort of go. Something had to be done, right? And then you would say that, okay, what I did was actually just asked her what happened, try to like calm her down, not try to what's the word, not try to demean or shame her more. So I did that like one-on-one, or with someone else in their presence, just so that one-on-one is not very fishy. And then you can talk about what are the specific steps that you asked her to do, and then how that helped her not just improve her conduct and get through the month for the rest of it. You did not tell your director, which is okay to mention in that sense, because you did see that sort of change in her, which is why you did not like escalate it to them. I would just add that, otherwise it might seem like you're not reporting things that actually would your director would come to know otherwise. And then the last one I would talk about, the personal or the positive influence that you had. You would obviously talk about how she felt like, you saved her from losing her passion in that sense, because she's very passionate about MUN and she wanted to continue this. And with this, she realizes that she can still come back to MUN and be a valuable contributing member, and she does not have to give that up, and that she has another chance. And that she now today is like you, while you're transitioning out, she is now the young mentor to other students as well. Does that make sense? How does that sound?
Yeah, that's fine. I can add all that. My problem is I'm already over the word limit.
Oh, yeah. Which is why I was just going to come to that now. This is where we come back to the structure, and then we break it down into different parts. So you have 350 words. We only need to pack in specific details about, and what are the factual details in this, right? The factual details are, what is the position? What is the conflict? Where was it? those sort of things, right? So that is like that first paragraph, and you just want to keep that short because all of it is factual. You're just giving information. Then the next two parts of your prompt, which is what is the experience, what was like the conflict or the situation that you sort of dealt with, and the positive influence it had, and what is the status today. Those are sort of those two major chunks that you want to reserve at least 100 words for. So that becomes like your 100, 200, 100, 150. So that becomes 250. And then the first 100 words are just like your factual information that you had to give about, where the story is, what and what's happening, who are the characters of your story. Yeah.
Okay.
Does that sound okay?
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I can.
Right. So same advice to Arnav is my advice to you. I would recommend just first having that sort of structure, knowing, just approximately how much should you be focusing on that section. So have that sort of outline first, and then just start rewriting that section itself. Break it into smaller chunks so that you know what you're focusing on when you're rewriting it. Okay.
Sure.
Yeah, and I'm going to make space for you to write your draft too. Like I told Arnav as well, do not edit your first draft because everything that we needed to know organically is already there. In your second draft, you can first have your outline and then just start writing those chunks. And I'll make space for the second draft where you can start writing it, okay?
Okay, sure.
So we can start with an outline, have that.
Ma'am, the finished paragraph, do I talk about like the activities I did or the conversations I had or?
Actually, what you did.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, actually what you did. What did you teach? How many hours you taught? What did one girl turn around and tell you about a story and how this influenced her? That's perfect. That's all we need. And again, your end is also written. Good, Sanjana. You're now getting the hang of making it a personal story. Now bring me stories about how you had to remove a friend, how you had to remove someone senior, how you had to, make rules which nobody liked, things like that.
Yes. Okay. So like you said, I'm just giving an example of a workshop that we did. And then
Beautiful idea. That's the best way. Specifics. You're right now banging it. Perfect. Anvisha, brilliant. It's very long, I know, but I've given you a comment, beta. You need to work on making it as personal as possible. Even if not now, you can do it tonight. You've understood? And then again, same thing that I've told her, beta. Shrink the beginning a little bit, but don't take away your story of how you suffered it yourself. Okay? So let's
it's like 500 words.
That's okay, sweetie. Don't worry. You will be able to edit it and bring it to, maybe 450, 400. I'll do the rest. So you all don't have to worry. So I'm going to say everyone into the main room. You guys are in the main room only. So you all are good. So what did you all feel? We will be asking everyone together. So keep that more or less ready that, considering you all have been in this 1.5 hours, what are you all feeling is important. Okay. So, but having said that, sweetie, while we're waiting for everyone to join, we have our next essay to work on. Okay. Anvisha, which one do you think you want to go with?
Well, I also personally wanted to do this one first, so like I'm
really? Oh, I'm so glad. Me too. Yeah. I really wanted to bring this out first. Oh, that's nice to know.
I think that one that I will need maybe help with and would want to do is like the one where I combine both the answers of how I like economics and how I'm bringing incredible art into it.
Incredible art, let's do it. That's the one I wanted. That's the toughest, but now let's just do that. Okay, so we're doing this. Sanjana, in your case, sweetie, which one would you like to work with? We've chosen a very tough one already for you.
Yes.
I would love to do the startup, the Lou one, the community one, if you're okay.
Yeah, I'm perfectly fine for that. We can do
Sounds
it.
good. Now you know my style of working,
Yeah.
as specific as possible.
Yeah.
So in your case, Sanjana, I want to know, why did you? Okay, I think I see people coming in. Okay, hi, Shilpa. All right, what we're going to do in the next 15 minutes, maybe I hope then, is that all of us will be taking less than a minute to share what this 1.5 hours has done for you. Okay, so everyone start thinking about it, because all of you have to say it. That allows your counselors and your readers to know what your struggles are and what you'll have achieved, what you'll are happy about, what you'll are sad about. Okay, counselors, y'all will also have to take a minute to do that, assuming we have time. Okay, so again, this time let's go group by group. I had to start last time, I'm not going to start this time. So let's start with Shaurya's group. Shaurya, Rohan and Yuvraj. Any one of them can go first. Rohan.
So, firstly, I kind of got an understanding of which prompts I should be answering and which ones I have the best scope for answering well. And before I went into writing specifically my creative essay, I Asharia gave us a bunch of tips that we could use generally for all four of our essays. For example, trying to use more active voice instead of passive voice, and a lot of other things like using more examples to make it more personal. So in using those tips and the other tips he gave me, I kind of finished the first draft of what I think this essay could look like.
Awesome. Thank you, Rohan. Thank you, Shaurya. Yuvraj. And
Uh,
you guys don't have to praise your counselor or praise this process. If you're struggling somewhere, be honest, okay? Yeah.
so this
Action.
1 hour has helped me understand how to structure what I want to say. It is so I've had a couple of thoughts about what I want to express, but I wasn't able to combine them. So I think this it's helped me with that.
And have you also managed your first draft,
Yeah,
more or less?
I
Oh,
finished
wow.
my.
Great. So, Shaurya, quickly, what did you feel about your group?
Yeah, I felt that both of them, like, they've put in more like concrete examples of how their creativity, like what things they like to talk about in their creativity side. So they've put in more concrete examples. Now the essays really look good. They've added good transitions as well.
Wow, fabulous. Group 4. Let's move to Siddhi and Vaishnavi. Siddhi, do you want to go first? They're working with Ashna.
Yeah, sure, ma'am. So essentially, I've basically already had what I wanted to write, but I felt like there were some major revisions needed for how I wanted to express those ideas, and I believe uh, I've gotten very valuable feedback on where I need to maybe focus a bit more on, focus a bit less on, and how most effectively I'm gonna convey my message.
Awesome. And your next is Vaishnavi.
Miss Ashna helped me a lot with like the structure and how I needed to organize it. I was really stuck with how to start writing and how to continue and all of that. So she really helped me.
Perfect. Ashna, your take?
Yeah, I think it was similar to Shaurya. Like sometimes it's just the getting to know people part of it and how I can best help. That took me a while to understand, because I led with, why don't you guys write something and then I'll help you out? And one kid was faster than the other, so I was like, how do I assist better? So definitely a little struggle for me on that end, but I think in general it did work out well. They didn't leave with full drafts, but I think they have a good understanding of how to proceed next.
Got it. Okay. Next group, we are going to be talking to Kruti's children. So Arnav and Rishik. Arnav, go first.
So my main issue was I had a good experience that I wanted to talk about. I just didn't know how to identify the relevant and the important parts of that to mention in my essay, which I was really helped with, which Ms. Kruti really helped me with. And also, I tend to write like in a really long narrative manner, so she helped me cut that down too. What I need to do now is kind of connect. I have two kind of disjointed parts which I need to connect, and yeah, I think I should be doing well with that.
And sometimes if you're struggling, you can always ask Kruti to help you do that. And that's fine. We as counselors can write one line for you all if that helps. So
Yeah.
don't worry about it. Okay, let's move to Rishik.
I had a similar situation, kind of. My draft was pretty long. It had gone over the points, so I learned how I can condense my thoughts, and then I have a proper outline that I have. And so right now I'm just in the phase of connecting all the points together, and I'll have a proper draft.
Kruti, what are you feeling?
Yeah, I think both of them have a very good start for this prompt. They both have very a good rich experience to tap into, which is what we established quite early on. And then the next step for me was to help them identify a structure that we can follow. And now that we have a structure, we're at least halfway through what might look like a final sort of draft, like a better draft than what we have. So it's not like fully complete, but I think we're getting there with both Rishik and Arnav.
Awesome. Shilpa's children. So, Anjali, do you want to go first and then Soham? Anjali,
So initially,
ambushed.
yeah.
When she joined the main room, I thought the poor child's been beaten by Shilpa because she had hair flying everywhere. Okay. Yes, Anjali, go with it.
Probably just the wind.
No, she was actually fighting with someone. I saw that. She was doing
Oh,
something.
my
There was
younger
someone that
brother,
came
he
in the
keeps
room.
barging in.
There we go. Yes, Anjali.
Initially, my essay, like the ideas were there, but it was kind of like scattered and dabbling on and on. So it wasn't more so structured well, which I think Miss Shilpa helped me with. So the only problem I had is I don't really know how to start the essay and end the essay. Like, do I make it inspirational, or I'm not really sure about that. That's the only problem. But other than that, I think my second draft is much more better than my first.
Allow your counselor to take that decision. A lot of times when your essay is fully done, she'll be able to decide what your opening hook and closing hook can be. So that's fine. Who's the next kid?
Soham.
Soham?
Right. So it really helped me organize my thoughts and bring like structure to what I had to write. So I didn't really know how to put what I needed to write and approach the question correctly. And the same thing for how to start my essay. I got some good help with that too, to make it sound pretty strong. Yeah.
Shilpa, what are you feeling?
I think I'm feeling good because both the kids, again, like everybody is saying, had some strong experiences that they could sort of, put it into essay. So, yeah, they made it easy for me, is what I can say. Yeah, I mean, yeah, obviously the structure was not there, and which we don't expect you to have, to be honest. But I think that's why you are all here, so that we can give you that structure. But I think it was an interesting experience. I've done this for the first time. It's like speed dating, I've never done essays so quick, like super turnaround. But this feels like speed dating. It's fun.
Let's move to Priyanka's children. Sanjana, go first.
So I think the main problem I had was with the starting and the ending, and I think Miss Priyanka had helped me a lot with it, and also the structure of the entire essay. So yeah, I think I have a good first draft, I would say, and yeah.
She's finished. She's actually finished. She's only got a word count to work with.
Yeah. So yeah, that I think, yeah, I had fun writing it. Yeah.
Anvisha.
Yeah, I think something that's everybody talked about was the structure, and just the fact that it went from this blob of just my writing to actually having 4 paragraphs, and every 2 minutes there's a new point, some new feedback, and it's just such a dynamic process. And I thought that was good because in that way I was able to include more information about this thing that I didn't even know that it was it could be talked about in that large of a manner.
So I'll end it. Both the girls, again, very incredible, but with very different stances. Sanjana can't write the first line. Once you tell her the first line, she can write 10. Anvisha writes the first line and then says, don't know what to write in the next 10. So I kind of didn't know how to switch between. One of the things I did, counselors, was that I was constantly on their docs working with them. And that really helps, I think, for they understand what I'm looking for them, but I also understand what they're writing and what they're trying to express. So if y'all haven't done that, I'd recommend y'all do it. We all know what our second essays are going to be. So we have 3 minutes. Anyone wants to express anything, go with it now. Else we'll go back to our breakout rooms. Remember to do a bit of your recordings and move with the second essay. We will meet again at 7 for Q&A and your homeworks to be discussed.
Auntie, just a question. If people still want to work on their first essay because they're kind of mid-thought and just into that, should they be focusing on that or should they transition to the second one?
I just feel there is no end to how much time you can give to one essay. So I feel, Ashna, the best thing to do is write your comments that for this essay now do this, 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 and this.
Okay.
And wrap it up, move, switch. Okay. Because they have till tomorrow 11 in the morning to submit us those 2 essays completely, right? And let's just give them that viewpoint, because otherwise you'll realize you'll get sucked up into that one. This is what I think. Anyone? Okay. Kruti, Shaurya, Shilpa? Shilpa feels the same.
Yeah.
Okay. Shaurya, Kruti, good with that?
Yes.
Sounds good. So then let's stick to this. Okay, guys, bye. I'll go back to my girls. We have a lot of feminism to be discussed there. Y'all can choose what y'all have to discuss. And we'll meet again at 7. Bye. Thanks, Ninad. Shall we move to our next essays? We'll follow the same format, but a little discussion for both first. So, Anvisha, yours. When we're talking about an academic subject, in your case, your academic subject is, again, if you notice, you're very passionate about education itself, right? Which your first essay is shown. Your second essay is going to show, as probably as you sit in your economics class and the macroeconomics class, when there is discussion about government and culture and policies that can be changed as a holistic inclusion of the whole country. And, throughout that conversation, throughout the class, you had your hand up because you had so much to say, so just to give it an interesting feel thought.
Okay.
So that's interesting how, and it could be anything. I'm just giving you an idea, right? And there was so much more that you went back to your teacher and you were discussing, and then you move from there, like flash forward. So your first economic class of macroeconomics. Okay, so you can literally say 2019 macroeconomic class, Gayatri Miss, what happened? Flash forward 2021. Founder of Incredible Art. Okay, and then you talk about the struggles of the policy you've seen. I mean, why? Why do rural artisans don't know about the tax benefits? Why do they not know how to sell? Why don't they have a platform to sell? Those kind of questions that are going on to your head, and how you thus worked on it. So in some ways, we are connecting policy, governance, tax reforms as your economics. How's it sounding?
Ma'am, like I have like a thought. So I think like the timeline, in 2019, like in my Incredible Art timeline, there's like this visit to like a village, and then I realized that there's so many like deeply rooted economic problems and whatnot.
How did that visit to the village happen? Why did it happen?
Oh,
okay,
well,
you girls are really into villages, man. Okay, why did your visit happen, beta?
It was for like I was trying to find like social issues, that type of thing. But it's also like really close to my mom's hometown. So we just
there we go.
Visited.
So, but we have to start with economics class.
Yeah, no. So my idea here is like 2019, the timeline, we're painting a picture. I sat in this class like 2 days later, I went on this trip and I was in the same like these like thoughts about like economic policies and economic welfare, equity versus equality, whatever. And then like do I transition into like I'm here in 2021 doing this, or like like the process? There's two ways I can-
Process.
Okay.
So then it'll be all with timelines. 2020. And this, again, we'll keep going. Economic class, incredible. Economic
Okay.
class, incredible. So 2019 economic class, you learned governance and policies and social impact. 2019, maternal grandmother's home, maternal home. And, you saw this, such beautiful, talented human beings. Nowhere to sell, nothing to do. 2020, economics class. Who are the stakeholders? How do you support a state group? 2020, you go back there and you're starting this platform. So you keep moving from class to class, but so you take one topic in the class smartly, discuss the same topic in reality.
Okay. And then like another small question is, in the narrative, one of like the things that I talk about is like my challenges that I faced during COVID. Do I not bring that in at all? Doesn't matter. Okay.
You have to a little bit, you want to, but I wouldn't do it, love. Don't
I mean,
take
it
away the
doesn't relate
meaning.
to economics at all. So like,
don't do it then.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. Cool. It's sounding fancy and all of that, and Visha, it's not easy to write. So keep following the structure I've explained to you. Okay?
Yeah.
Sounds good. Sanjana, moving to you.
Yes, ma'am. I was actually just working on my first essay. The bit.
Oh, so sweet. Nice. That's a good thing to do. I'm so impressed. Can I take both of you all home? I like my children. Okay, beta, we are moving to your Lou one now, right?
Yeah, it's Lou Cafe.
Which is how to make, the Lou Cafe. I actually read about it, by the way.
Okay.
So how to make your community, or how you made your community a better place, okay? So I want you to start by straight, why would want to go, or something like, why would I want to go to a cafe to use a loo? Or why would I, want to use a loo in a cafe or something like that? And who would want to call that a loo cafe? I mean, it's almost as though food's nice, loo's nice. Why are we combining the two together? Till you realize how important it was. That's literally how I want your essay to be. So it could be, the idea of a cafe is some great food, wonderful conversations. The idea of a loo is, urgent usage and quick to get out. So make the cafe sound like a place you want to sit in. So, a cafe, a place to eat and hang and make great conversations. A loo, a place to go on an urgent need and come out as fast as you can, hopefully without holding your nose, right? How can the two be connected together? I learned it the hard way. That's your beginning. And then we move on to my internship started. And how did this internship come? Why did you choose? And what are the things you were learning? Like the first thing you learned, why a Lou Cafe? And the whole purpose was redefined for you. And then as you went on your projects and you saw the Lou's, what was your feeling? What did you feel before the first time to the last time? Like first time, maybe you felt, it's so stinky, we need a perfume here, blah, blah, blah. By the next time, you realize it's not about the perfume. It's about the fact that someone can actually peacefully take off their undergarments, sit and do something that's nature's call. And it's something so private, right? To be able to use the loo, which you have to kind of scout in that, what is that, Malasan pose, pull down your pants or pull up your sari and use it in the villages. Literally, that's what is happening. Like I said, beta, I've worked with villages. I've worked in sanitation. So this I share with my own passion with you. You choose to write it your way.
Yes.
Is it seeming the right way, beta, to you?
Yes, ma'am. So also the key thing. So honestly, I mean, making the community a better place, definitely, but also my time, my internship while I was doing it. So the person I was supposed to report to gave me a really hard time. So I like literally understood what patience is by working with him, right? So should I even
What do you mean by a hard time? Explain to
so
me.
like, suppose we agree to this strategy or this plan, and like the entire team is working on it. They're spending their nights working on it to implement it. And the next day it's gone. Like he gets a better idea. So it was very childish. I mean, he was also my age, but it kind of like, taught me how to be a
And
professional.
that's incredible because that's what a startup is. That's what Ashna's founded 3 startups. So that's one of the things she told me is, Auntie, the first thing she must have faced is nothing stays the same an hour later. And I'd like you to say that, and I mean, whatever the marketing strategy was, let's focus on, maybe having better locks, or that the people are not stealing the locks and walking away. So we kind of focused, I don't know, whatever your marketing strategy was on. And as we went on designing that, this, the founder or my senior suddenly came up with the idea that's not important. The bigger importance is that we need a garbage bin because the women are leaving their soiled cloths or sanitary napkins everywhere, things like that. So that he changed. So you're not putting him in a bad light, but at the same time, you're showing the madness that you all had to go through. So a little bit of that. So your first paragraph, Sanjana, because you're not the best to start with what is a cafe. A cafe is, what is a loo? A loo is, okay? How can they be joined together? I really learned the hard way, okay? Straight move to, in my 3-week internship, I the first week or the first 2 days, I was just trying to understand what's a Lou Cafe. Why was this started? What's the thought behind the founder? And then we were immediately given our first marketing strat or whatever marketing campaign to work on, which was this. Okay, the entire weekend you worked, you designed, you sat and made sketches, and you went through the website to understand why is it needed, and you defined and designed what you did. Next day, the founder says, this is not important. That's actually become more important. And then as you started working on it, so while the frustration built up, but the truth was that your learning built up stronger. So week 2, when you actually went there, you could contribute on every single topic. And, you had your designs ready, you had your plans ready. And so all of that you'll talk in your second paragraph, and your final paragraph will be, how did you make the community a better place? What did you do with this Lou Cafe? The fact that you could actually come back and talk about it and get more volunteers to intern with them, to actually come back and work in starting the first one that got launched in Telangana. Whatever, that's the beginning of your community a better place. And you can mention here, I'm really excited because I'm going back there in the coming winter, and will be working on the next Lou Cafe because they have something called 2.0 being launched now.
Yes.
So you can work on that then and write about that. So that's your essay. Sounds good?
Yes, ma'am.
Start writing now. I will keep jumping as always between the two of you.
Okay.
Anvisha, you remember, just coming back to you, you know what the prompt is? Literally think about an academic subject that inspires you. So we've literally gone to the class, got inspired, come out of the class.
Yeah.
So it's I can't think of a better way of doing it.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things, like staying true to the prompt, but in like a creative manner.
Yeah.
So when you say define, ma'am, like what, like it's a place?
Small, great food, place to hang out, or whatever, good food, place to hang out for great conversations. Okay, like that.
Okay, ma'am.
Very short definition. You have to make this. No. Don't introduce your whole topic here. Not here. No. Something like this. Long is important because the other one is leaving as soon as possible, right?
Yes.
Done with your opening hook. Okay. Now start talking about your this internship.
How do I start?
Whatever, in 2018, I took up a 3-week summer program at a place called Lou Cafe. It was a startup, blah, blah, blah. At a
Okay.
startup called Lou Cafe, yeah.
Okay.
Don't try and build drama now. Drama's done. Sanjana, don't overthink. Overthink will kill it. Just write.
Okay.
I'm there now to think with you.
Yes, yes.
Anvisha, always remember, if you can show me, don't tell me. You've shown me that your sore hand showed that you loved it. You don't have to tell me you were passionate then.
Okay. A quick question. It's like I'm talking, like currently what I'm talking about is that like the artists are not able to practice their art because of the economic inequality in the area. So do I talk about like where do I go next from that? Like, do I still expand on that or?
A little bit. Why? Why? 1, lack of education, 2, lack of money, 3, lack of realizing that it was a value more than anything.
Okay.
So inequality needn't just stem from money. Inequality could stem from the education, awareness, or just the whole strata of knowledge that's available.
Yeah.
Make sense? Is that what your question was?
Yeah, yeah. I just wanted to know, like, how do I go about expanding the paragraph? And why grudgingly? Like, why that adjective?
Not necessary, but I'm assuming no one wants to go to a village.
No, it's actually fun.
Okay. It's a tiny village with how many people?
It's like a neighboring village to where I am. And it's called Narsapur. It's actually pretty big. It's just like the area that I went to, it's like there's a city-ish portion of it that like stems into the city where I come from, which is
Tiny
Rajahmundry.
town called whatever, Narasapura, whatever you
Yeah,
just write.
Narsapur.
Just write that there.
Yeah.
No, you don't say this. Let it show that it's coming back to you.
Okay.
Why did you walk down this street? Like, did your grandmother take you there or?
We were just like, there was a market on the other side. So then we were just walking.
See that. So there was a street market and I was, no,
Then this was the street next to it. After we finished with the market, we went to the street where there were like it's like this, and then there's homes all over here and all over here, and all of them sit like on the steps. You know how like the old homes have those like
describe
steps.
this. This is so beautiful. I love this description. So, we went into the market to buy whatever. I mean, make it small. Looking to buy some, whatever, vegetables or something. What were you looking to buy? So instead of we, you can say I. What are you going to?
No, it wasn't like the lane was. Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, and then instead of bombarded, I'd love to say that each set of stairs come on. You know,
Okay, crocheting this in.
no, let that be. I like your language more. I saw women knitting at the a woman, maybe?
Every home I passed by.
Yeah. Had a woman knitting at the foot of the doors. Crocheting, perfect. Make changes here. What did you ask them? I asked them about their salaries. How do you know an economic situation? Did you ask them how much they sell for or what?
Yeah. Like how much
I
do they
asked them,
receive?
yeah, I asked them the cost and selling price within markets or something like that. And then you can flow on to what you want. Make sense? Okay, so I'm moving to you now, Sanjana. Sanjana, my dear, quicker writing, please. Are you there, Sanjana? Where are you?
Yes, ma'am, I'm here. I'm here.
This was going to be an essay that you were going to write fast, my love.
Oh, sorry.
Fast, fast. Never, when you can show me, don't tell me. Lou Cafe is sounding intriguing. That's why you've written what is cafe, what is Lou. Then don't say it. Show me, don't tell me. Okay, remember these 2 words or 4 words. It's specifically for rural towns, right?
I mean, it's all over India right now, but yeah, the focus should be on that. Like highways, etc. also.
I would like to say this, semi-rural areas, maybe not rural. Never say perfect. How do you know? Remember the question, beta. Either we then put this as...
So I'm just going to talk about how frustrating it was, and then how, although it was frustrating, it widened my horizon of learning.
Yeah.
And then I'll
And
go.
that's how you focused on making it a better place.
Yeah, that's how, yeah.
Sounds good. So continue. I will keep correcting it while we're doing it.
Ma'am, should I start the next paragraph? Or
Yeah, please.
Ma'am, am I making a change in my community, or am I like trying to make a change, or take steps towards making a change for the rural areas? So what am I doing in my community to help the rural areas? Or
Your community could be anything. Your community could be, just the ability to use bathrooms.
Right. So, okay.
It's not really a cafe. It sells food, right? Or is you can
It
sit
sells-
and eat.
So there are like seatings and it sells food. So that's
Okay.
But they're like very minimal amount of chairs.
Yeah.
Ma'am, in order to change the community, make it better, can I also talk about the book where that book was written to open
We
eyes?
spoke about where the book is to be. Was it supposed to be here? Give
No,
me a
I don't-
second, wait.
Yeah.
Yeah? No, beyond what you shared. No, beta, we can't talk about it here.
So right now in the third paragraph, I'm talking about how these learnings inspired me to make a change in my community and how I'm trying to do awareness campaigns. So as a part of that, my team and I launched a book, which was launched by the Honorable
That's
Minister.
fine.
Yeah,
Then
share
bring
it.
it here. Then bring it here. Because if that's what you've done, then bring it here.
Yeah, so I have actually done that. So I'll just bring that in here. So where we
Sure.
were in an interview. Yeah.
Sure. So I've changed a lot for you, Sanjana, in the first paragraph in 2019, if you see.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah, now you need to talk a lot about the things you've done. Like actually maybe putting flyers in your school, talking about in the assembly room, writing to the principal, inviting them school to come and see how these Lou cafes work, calling the founders for a presentation, even if you haven't done a lot of it, but talk about it because, that's important. To then saying that eventually, I wanted to do this book. So get into that.
Oh, so you don't want the book to be the first thing. So first I'll just
Not
talk
at
about
all. Never. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll just tell it that. Okay.
Yeah, and just copy paste it here and there. Anvisha, are you there? Anvisha?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, sweetie. You are still only in 2020. Okay. Macroeconomics. Okay. Do you want it to become 1 or 2 or 2 or 1 now? Right?
Mm.
And now maybe the concepts of inequality. What was the first concept then? Inequality hata dete hain. We can't keep repeating it.
Mm.
Yeah, of government policies and social responsibilities, maybe. Is that making sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, that way we kind of.
It's like we're bringing in something new instead of
Exactly.
having the same thing. Yeah. But then in the visit to the village thing, I talk about economic inequality. So
Yeah, we can't do that then. We'll have to talk about a social responsibility here.
okay.
So this all will come later. Or you know what? Let's make this a broad discussion on inequality. It'll be easier to make that change.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And this one can be concepts of social responsibility.
Okay.
That's easier, right?
Yeah.
So you now know what you have to talk about. Now, be careful. Do not talk about what the teachers taught you here.
Yeah.
Not about what you've learned there. Okay, where did I throw this out? Oops. Did I? What did I do?
Once if you like bring that back, yeah. I
Yeah, I
just
did.
said
Sorry.
opening with an example, our teacher explained the value of. So it's like what the
Okay,
teacher
okay.
said.
Yeah, got it. Yeah. But now we're talking about social responsibility, beta. So you have to talk about social responsibility now.
Okay,
Make
so
sense?
I take off this achieve equality, but socially something, socially optimum. Huh. Oh, we're going to exam. Oh, it's like because the organization is the test of all these skills. Oh, that's smart.
Okay, I didn't understand the concept of social. Opening with an example of how a young girl made more money than a licensed drink vendor. How's
At
that
a
social?
carnival.
How's that a social?
Well, so like, I mean, it was not going to be about like this, not social responsibility. I
So
feel like
you
this is
remove this and actually put corporate social, so that how our country has actually levied that every corporate has to spend X% towards social welfare, right? To add to the government non-profits. Okay. And then you talk about what did you do? How did you go back to them and start teaching them that, the government is there to give you a tax saving. The government is there to help you build up. In 2021, you talk about your exam where you write about the struggles of women artisans and rural artisans, and then how you build up incredible India.
Yeah. But then the only thing, like I'm getting 2021, I'm understanding 2019. I'm not understanding the connect between 2020, like
Okay,
CSR.
you write CSR, write that. Whatever,
Yeah.
social responsibility, write that. What is the role of social responsibility by corporates made by our Indian governments? And I'll show you what you do. Something like this. Does it make sense what I'm saying?
So like stairs becomes like the motif kind of in this.
Yeah, we're constantly, around this.
Like we're growing and we're.
I mean, yeah, eventually, yes, that's what we're going to try and show the stairs as. That, from those 3 small footsteps and stairs, we've taken it to a stairs of, 40 women on the stairs has now become 150 women across many stairs, across many.
Yeah.
Got it? So that's what the concept of government welfares. And here you need to write that, they could actually attend the business to business, or they could come and they get tax benefits.
Yeah, but one of the issues that I was trying to solve is giving them like a completely private platform, because there used to be this thing called Lace Park that was government initiated, and they would send one of their like representatives to the village saying that, okay, we want this bulk order. Like there was like a flaw in this endeavor because.
So that's very good. You're right. Bulk order, government, whatever this Lace Park was here.
Yeah, and then
you realized the flaw. Yeah, you realized the flaw. It was, unfortunately.
Oh, so like even though it's like, oh, like I go with the thought thinking, yeah, government can help them.
Exactly.
Then I learned from them that it's
it was
actually
unfortunately
fraud.
Exploitation and corruption that doesn't allow for theory to filter the world of reality.
Yeah.
Isn't that the truth?
Yeah.
And thus your exam here, where you write about the whole case study of, here's your case study on rural artisans, especially women. What is needed and why? And then you move to 2021, filed for my own nonprofit, or whatever you did, Incredible India, or whatever it was, right? Incredible Art, sorry. And what did you do there? And then at the end, economics was my first step to meet the women at the stairs of their tiny little homes. But today, it is what has taken me, blah, 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 and talk about something with stairs and access to the growth trajectory. Stairs and growth trajectory of your nonprofit. Bang, we're done. Okay.
Yeah.
Kiddo, you have 20 minutes to finish it fast, less than 20 minutes. But now you've understood. So now you can't say you don't understand.
Yeah.
Okay. Sanjana, I'm back to you, my love.
Yes, ma'am. I've kind of written about few of the initiatives.
Perfect. Good job. I'll correct that. You move to your third paragraph now. Okay.
Ma'am, so I've written about how principal came down, got inspired, etc., and all of that. I didn't write about the book because you said that should be like the
No,
last.
right. So more or less, this is your essay, it seems. Let's see first, what's the word count? Because then accordingly, do we need to subtract or add? We will do that. Can you check the word count for me, beta, please?
Yes, ma'am. 1 second.
Where did you first visit the Lou Cafe? Where was it? I haven't got that here.
It's somewhere in Hyderabad, in like the old city area.
Okay, so write that. And why was this important? What was your learning? Right? So, how you actually managed to explain all the concepts and requirements to the staff. And
staff, people working in local.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So that they could do a better job. And say that it was important for them to know why they were doing, to impact how they were doing. Right? Yeah. Okay. The founders were delighted at the sharp growth that came after my visit and asked me to continue being an ambassador, something like that. Can you say that? Is this company known to you?
Ambassador, I don't, that's a strong word, I think.
Okay. To continue being involved?
Yeah, okay.
So then, first thing I did was to present it, was to join hands with students where?
Like in the community.
Which community?
Like the student community.
Where? In your school?
In my
or
school.
Other schools, yes. So the first thing I did was to initiate awareness among students in my school, right? We don't have to say what community you're talking about. It's pretty obvious. Okay, so I can't say who shared the same. You have to show me how.
Right.
How did you present this concept? Why did they like? And then how you got them to start volunteering at the Lou Cafe, right? Ignore my spellings, okay?
Yes.
So all that you will say there, okay, start adding. Then as a part of this, can we convince the founders of never write these numbers, beta. I just tried telling you that.
Yeah, it's just a habit.
And change all your Lu cafes to capital Lu, please.
Yes, ma'am, I will do that.
Based on the success in my school, I led a campaign. I led an awareness drive within other international schools. Where I led a similar. Within how many months would you like to say that you did all this? Within like 3 months?
Yep.
We had XX student volunteers and were supporting the working of how many Lu cafes? 5 Lu cafes around our city, maybe?
Yes, ma'am.
My biggest, okay, achievement was to, did your principal actually come?
No, ma'am. I tried to put that in to create impact. Can I do that?
No, was to create someone else, was to maybe make the government authority of your
So there was one government authority that actually came in. So one of the person
mention that.
Okay.
To get and then you can say that they generated whatever funds, or that they promised to make this a part, or we're trying to make this a part of their government welfare or the government optional program.
Okay.
Okay, and then your next paragraph will be something like this. But we don't want to say the book here, right?
Here is good, ma'am. I think I like that introduction.
Yeah, this is going to be your end. Okay, so put it here.
Yeah, so end would be how much, like?
You just write it. Don't worry about that.
Okay.
Okay. So just start making these changes, please.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, we have only 10 minutes.
So should I even include that it was launched by Honorable or?
That's the reason I didn't want the book to come here, because I like the idea of having the book as a separate topic altogether.
So, ma'am, we could just exclude the book, and I think that's fine, right? I could just conclude because I think I have done
Yeah,
enough.
I think so.
I feel like
Yeah.
where I've written about the things I've
Yeah.
done, that's
Yeah,
powerful enough.
exactly. I really think that's enough.
Mom, so the ending, can you tell
Yeah.
me what I
Ma'am, just let me know when you're done. I just need like 1 minute.
I'm done. Sanjana, just take a look, Peter. So that's kind of an end for you. But make sure somewhere in the up on the top area where you're talking, you talk about how, in these places, men and women have to kind of, stoop down onto roads and use the loo. At least now they have a space which they can lock and use. So just make sure that's added. Yes, Anvisha, I'm at your essay, beta.
Yeah, so I finished the end. I had the ending statement. It's just the paragraph about the nonprofit. Do I make it objective, like saying like I did this, or do I have to make it narrative? Because the rest of it is narrative.
It's exactly it's going to be an objective narrative. So it straight gets into
what do I do?
I'm hoping to learn from the economic, so I have merged my economic theories into practical aspects to do da 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 da. Bang, over.
Okay.
Sounds
That's
good?
it. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I've told you what your end is going to be anyway. So
yeah, I wrote it. Like
oh, you did?
Sentence of it. Like it's just one sentence of an end, but
like that. Nice. Like it? You're mute. Okay, cool. So now make the
like can I say today it is what helped me unite thousands of women from their stairs to because
to the growing steps of Incredibles.
That's it. That's good.
Yeah, cool. Finish your 2021 fast. Beautiful, Anvisha. I'm loving your essay. I don't know what your Common App essay is, but this can actually be a great Common App essay as well.
Yeah, ma'am, I wrote a first draft of Common App. Like
you should be on your last draft now. You kids give me so much stress. And Teresa has like lost it with me because she thinks Anvisha's always in exams, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, I was in exam. Like it's big predicted exams too.
Got it. I understand. Sanjana, where are you, my love? You're adding that line?
Yeah.
Sanjana, solid. Just that one line you need to add, then I need to edit and bring it down. Brilliant. I'm happy with you. Go for it. Beat us up.
The count is currently double of how much it needs to be. So I'm really trying a lot to cut, but it's all important stuff. I feel like it's rough.
Positive point is if you've written 650 words, you can try and use it as your Common App essay.
Yeah. I was just thinking that actually.
Okay, how many more people? Come on, beat us up. Sob stories, yeah. What is this? You're all too goody two shoes type of kids. Come on. Siddhi, you want to beat us up? Shaurya, are you beating yourself up?
Like it got exhausting at the end, but it was good. Like it was fine. We got a lot of work done at least. That's what matters.
Fair. Students, anyone else wants to, or okay, if you don't have a sob story, anyone excited to talk about what they've managed, what they're happy about?
Can I go? I think I really loved what Anjali's thoughts were coming out. We changed the essay completely from what we started to what shape it's taking, and it's
I'm still thinking about what to write. So I
Yeah.
haven't finished it.
That's fine. I think it's going in the right direction, but we'll see what shape it takes. But I think I'm excited about I think I'm just excited to have a topic that was not a part of your initial 8 essays.
Wow, really? Oh man, that's exciting.
Yeah.
Anyone in? Anvisha, Sanjana, any of y'all? Guys, I've done a... Anvisha, you want to talk about your mad structure?
Yeah, I mean, it's an essay, but it's like the most like unconventional looking essay there can be. But it's like it's a process. It's fun.
Yeah, this child has now been told, forget the structure. Let's move to another kind of unstructure. So yeah. Anyone else? Yes, Rohan.
So I actually got both my essays to be within 380 words. So
Wow.
I don't have to cut too much. And although like at the first time, my first essay, like the first draft I made was like 550 words, I was able to get it down because I finished my second essay really quickly.
Who are you working with, Rohan?
Sorry.
Shaurya. Can you work with... Oh yeah, Shaurya is a reader for my essays. Good. Both my kids are, I think, of 600 plus. And I'm like, yeah, don't worry. It's okay. We'll figure, if not more. So I'm obviously not doing a great job there. Okay, serious stuff. If no one wants to say anything good or bad now, shall we move to something important? Okay, kids. Each one of your counselors will lay down the homework for you. But here is a generic homework that I'm giving you. Before 11 a.m. tomorrow, 11:01 will not work. Ninad's job is not to ruin his Sunday brunch, trying to tell you all it's 10:30, it's 10:40, the essays haven't come, blah, blah, blah. He will put it once, reminder at 10:30 that the essays need to be on the Google Doc where you kids are working currently, complete and final, whatever you all think is there. Okay? Okay? No one's going to tell us, I fell ill, I nearly had an accident. No. Don't step out of the house so you don't have an accident, please. Okay? Don't eat too much of food so you won't be rushing to the loo. We need you guys with us tomorrow at 3:50 dot. Clear? 11 a.m. is your first deadline, needs to be done, needs to be complete. 3:50 is your next deadline, needs to be with us. Clear? Sounds good? All right. Good night, everyone. Thank you, counselors, for doing such crazy work. And I know we're not being paid for anything, but I'm hoping this is fun at least. Bye-bye. Take care.